everyone. Welcome to Shoolini Spotlight. Today we have with us a highly distinguished academician and researcher, Professor Sadanand Pandey, who is currently serving as professor in the Faculty of Applied Science and Biotechnology at Shoolini University. With over 17 years of research experience in material science and nanotechnology, Professor Pande has made remarkable contributions in areas such as water purification, sustainable energy, nanosensors, and biomedicine. He has authored more than 300 research papers, received over 15,000 citations, and has been consistently ranked among the top 2% scientists worldwide. Today, we will be discussing his research journey, emerging trends in nanotechnology, and some very important issues related to academic publishing, including Scopus publications and predatory journals. Sir, welcome to Shoolini Spotlight.
Thank you.
So, sir, my first question to you is that over the 17 years of research experience, what actually inspired you to enter the field of nanotechnology and material science?
Well, it's a nice question, and I would like to tell you about my history. Uh, when I was doing my master in biochemistry, that time I attended one conferences, and that conference is about the application of nanotechnology, and that basically the you can say the conference inspired me a lot. And when I come to know about nanotechnology, so the nanotechnology basically what nanotechnology is all about. When you bring the materials to a nano range sizes, that 10 is per minus 9 meter, so that basically change the entire physical, chemical and biological property of the materials, and that important property is very helpful in different types of applications, say for the application in the wastewater treatment, say for sensor application, biosensor application, environmental remediation. These are the area where the nanotechnologies are playing a very crucial role. So that time when I saw the conferences and see the unique features of those nanomaterials, I was really very excited to really do some contribution in the area of nanotechnology. And that is the seed which I can say is, started in my mind, and then I started working in the area of nanotechnology and thinking in dream to how to do something in nanomaterials so that those nanomaterials can be used for the benefit of the mankind.
Okay, sir, that's great. My next question to you is that you have worked across countries like South Korea and South Africa. So, how have these international experiences shaped your research experience?
Definitely working in the world-class laboratory, either in the South Korea or South Africa, is a really an amazing experiences. So when you talk about let us talk about the South Korea. So whenever I was in South Korea working in the lab, I work in the POSCO company, one of the best, fourth largest steel company in the world. I work in their R&D, and then I also work in the Yongnan University, one of the best universities of South Korea. So what I observe, if you compare the Indian exposure with the international exposure, there are a lot of changes are being observed. Changes in respect to infrastructure. We can see the high grade of infrastructure facilities are there in the South Korea. So if you talk about the instrumentation facility, you know whenever you're working in the area of nanomaterials, you really need a sophisticated instrument by which you can do the lot of characterization techniques. Say for example SCM, TEM, XRD, TGA, DSC, name any. All the types of instrumentation facility we are already having in the lab. And if you talk about Indian context, we do not have those laboratories. Those instrumentation facilities are not there at that time. So when I go to South Korea and perform the activities of nanomaterials, I found a lot of changes and my research boosted like anything. So the way I was publishing the work in India, when I go to the international level in South Korea, my work has entirely been changed. The time taking for completing the research is very minimized. So if you say, for example, today I have synthesized a material, say for example, carbon nanotubes. And now I have to perform the analysis that to confirm that it's the carbon nanotubes. So for that I can perform the instrumentation facility within daytime. So apart from that, I got a global recognition there because they wanted to appreciate the researchers. So if you got a research appreciation, a type of platform where you get an opportunity to discuss with your collaborator, you can develop high class of collaborator, international collaborator, which can help you, support you from different multidisciplinary branches. So although I was from biochemistry background, but when I started my study in South Korea, I was working in the area of nanomaterials, and the main application of nanomaterials there was in the energy area. So people there basically working in the generating the hydrogen from the water, and that is the future of the fuel. So if you see today's context, today's we are working on the fossil fuel. So fossil fuels are used for like carbon, like diesels, petrols, LPG. We are depending upon the fuel, but now the alternative mode of fuel is going to be the hydrogen. So Korea is a country like they're focusing more on the cleaner energy because we are talking about the sustainability, eco-friendly, and that come only from the concept of the if you can generate the hydrogen from the water. So we have developed the photocatalytic materials there in South Korea, and those photocatalytic material uses to convert the water into hydrogen, and that hydrogen does not have the carbon, and that is carbon free fuel is there. And if you have a carbon free fuel, this means that you are free from the global warming. Okay, so greenhouse gases can be removed, and the calorific value of hydrogen is entirely very high if you compare with that of the other different types of fossil fuel. So that is a one aspect. I learn a lot of things in the area of the energy, how to develop the supercapacitor, how to develop the battery, how to generate the hydrogen from the water. So that was a crucial area of the my research, that using nanomaterial for the energy application. Coming to my second point of the South Africa aspects. So when I was in South Africa, the major problem of South Africa is how to make water safe for drinking. That was the need of the African continents. So in African continents, people are not having the safe water to drink. So our projects there in South Africa, in University of Johannesburg, is that how to make water pure for drinking. So I have designed a different types of nanomaterials, and those nanomaterials can be used to purify the organic, inorganic, and biological waste and make the water safe for drinking. So these are different types of platform and different culture, different social background, and different research infrastructure I have seen in my life during the South Korea and South Africa stay, and that really boosts my research, my intellectual knowledge, and of course I have developed such a type of confidence level, a type of research skill, that I am success in converting those research into the publications aspects.
Sir, so what do you think that what techniques India need to opt so that we can also match their pace?
The problem in India is we do not have the proper systems are not there. When it's come to a system, the processing time is very high. I am trying to tell you one story. It was my first day of visit to. It was my first day of joining to South Korea, and when I visited the South Korea lab first time, the mentor of my lab, she asked me, Dr. Pandey, what are the chemicals required for your projects? I have given the list of 40 chemicals in the same day, and you will imagine, you will glad to know that the next day those chemicals are on my tables. So what I mean to say, the procurement process is very fast. So I mean to say, if you order chemical today in India, almost it take a month or 2 months or even a 6 month to deliver the chemicals on time. So that is the fastness of the research there in a foreign country, because whatever you are expecting, you are getting in very fast pace. Okay, so mean to say, it's a procurement policies are very important. So if you wanted to make a country good in research, you have to you have to fasten the procurement process. Apart from that, we are lacking with many funding. Although we are having DST, we are having DBT, we are having the MOF, we are having the ICMR, they are providing a lot of fundings. But still, the funding, if you see the population of 1.4 billion population, okay, and if you see the researcher population, still we need more funding. We are having more expectation from these funding agencies that they can provide more funding so that we can procure the chemical, we can perform the instrumentation and research and other types of application parts like cancer cell tissue cultures, cancer diagnosis, treatment, all the cultures we can perform with the help of because for everything you basically need the money. Without funding, you cannot think of doing the research. So research required money, Okay, and money can be easily be done with the help support of the funding agency like ICMR, DST, and DBT. If they can make some policy for the researcher, for the young researcher, for the already settled researcher, who so that we can have those funding for making the research to a higher level.
Okay, sir. So your work on organic inorganic nanocomposites is highly impactful. Could you explain it in simple terms that how this research benefits society?
It is really very wonderful questions, and many of the colleagues even ask me that Dr. Pandey, you already work in the organic inorganic nanocomposites material, and how this materials save the your life and save the future. Obviously, when you talk about the organic and inorganic nanocomposite materials, so you can see it's made up of two components: organic, which basically contain the biopolymer like nature polysaccharides, and the inorganic component basically contain the metal oxide, and minerals. When you're trying to combine these two different materials by solvent methods, so what basically happening, you are getting the organic inorganic hybrid material. When I say hybrid materials, I mean to say you are having the significance property of each components are present in your final products. So mean to say, if you have developed the organic inorganic composite material that have the unique physical, chemical, and biological property, it is thermally stable, chemically inert, and mechanically strength, and all these properties really help in different applications. When I say applications, these materials I have used for the water purification, for removing the organic contaminants. Say for example the organic dye removal like rhodamine B, methylene blue. These are different types of organic dyes which are being released from the industries. These dye I have tried to remove with the help of the organic inorganic nanocomposite material. Apart from that, the same organic inorganic nanocomposite material can be used for the energy application for generating the hydrogen from the water. That's a very useful application of the organic inorganic nanocomposite material. Apart from the third application, if I will talk, the third application is I have developed the ammonia gas sensors in when I was working in the ISC Bangalore. So there I have developed the ammonia sensor with the help of organic inorganic composite material. So you talk about the different applications. So organic inorganic composite material really have a broader application right from the wastewater treatment to drug delivery system, and then you talk about the gas sensor, biosensors, then energy areas. So this type of materials really have a very unique application in different area. And since we are using the polymer, and these polymers are natural polymer derived from the plant, so it is a renewable green synthesis method to synthesize the nanoparticle. So because it's a green, eco-friendly, cost-effective techniques, and that this type of techniques is the techniques which the companies really looking for. Because if you talk about the companies want a type of material which is having the low cost, and it should be scalability, and it should have the high stabilities. So keeping this in view, if we have designed this material or we work on this material, really this material is going to be very useful for any type of application which you are looking for.
Okay, sir. Sir, water purification and sustainable energy are global challenges. So, how close are we to solving these problems through nanotechnology?
I can say we are in the process, but still we are lacking far behind. Mean to say, when I say we are in the process, so it's not me who is working in this area about the water remediation, because water is the major concern, and this concern is not the concern of the Asian or African continents, it's a concern of world level. Okay, so there is a need for the pure drinking water. If you see Himachal Pradesh, your own states, you are still here depending upon the aquaguard. You are depending upon the many types of filtration techniques to drink the pure water. Okay, so this means that the water contaminations are in abundance. Okay, and it is being said by the most of the researchers and the people that third world war will be because of the water. Okay, because we do not have the safe drinking water. So nanotechnology is really playing a crucial role in the water remediation. Although if you see now different types of materials are being prepared, like say for example carbon quantum dots, carbon nanoparticle, silver nanoparticle, zinc oxide nanoparticle, and different other metal oxides are being designed to make the water safe for drinking. And as you know, there are three different types of contaminants are present in your water. One is called the organic contaminants, other is inorganic contaminants, and third one is called the biological contaminants. And most of the contaminants are among these three different types of contaminants. When we talk about the organic contaminants, these contaminants are basically coming from the pharmaceutical industries, from the textile industry. They are rich in the organic contaminants. In case of inorganic contaminants, you can talk about the mercury, cadmium, lead, arsenic. These are coming from the battery industry and the other industries. These different types of inorganic contaminants are present in water and coming from the industry effluent to the water. And when you talk about the final types of contaminants, it's called the biological contaminants, mean to say presence of some microorganism inside the water, and that also really very harmful. Most of the waterborne disease is because of the biological pathogenic contaminants which are present in the water. So we already have designed so many different types of materials already present which depend upon the nanomaterial basis. Because of the unique physical, chemical and biological property, these materials are really playing a outstanding role. But still, when it's come to the commercialization, when it comes to the industrial level, it's really have certain drawback. And the first drawback is about the cost effectiveness. Mean to say, when it's come to the cost of the material which you synthesize for purifying the water, that cost is really very high, and that cannot be in the reach of the common people. The first is the cost is the major concern. Second is the scalability. We have to scale at a higher level. That is the second issue. And third issue is the stability of the nanomaterial. So nanomaterial which you are using for developing the as adsorbent for water purification, that material does not have long-term stabilities. And last but not the least, I can say the problem can be resolved, but the thing is that still we have to do more research. We have to focus more on these aspects. So if we depend more on the green methods, then definitely the things can be easily be can be fulfilled.
Okay, sir. So you have over 300 research publications. What keeps you motivated to maintain such an extraordinary level of productivity?
300 publication is really good and look very awesome whenever anyone uses to see this thing. But make it clear, 300 publication is not anything for me. Publication does not matter anything for the researcher. For the researcher, the thing which matter is how you're going to use the publication in the real life, how you're going to solve the problem. People are publishing paper nowadays. You see the publications, people are busy in publishing the papers, but the papers should have certain quality. When I say quality, it should have some purpose, it should have some benefit to the society. So definitely I'm happy that I have around 300 plus publications so far in the Scopus-indexed journals, but still there are certain things which still I am lacking. I wanted to make the publication into some real life products. Okay, product is my main aim, to commercialize this publication into product form so that it can really useful to the societies.
Okay, sir. So being ranked among the top 2% scientists worldwide for consecutive years is remarkable. What does this recognition mean to you personally and professionally?
Being a top 2% scientist by the Stanford University list, which is released every year, I'm from the last 6 years in this list, and my 2025 ranking was 4,000 ranking, overall 4,000 ranking among 4 lakhs scientists who have been chosen among the top 2% scientists. So really it's a great achievement, and this basically gave me a motivations. So if you get an international recognition on such a platform, it's a really motivation for me. It's a really amazing for me. But the thing is that always recognition brings you a lot of responsibilities. So being top 2% scientist, I have to maintain my quality of research. So for maintaining the quality of research is my main responsibility, and to give something good for the societies. So mean to say, this make me more tense, stress, because being top 2% scientist, and then you have a lot of things to do. Okay, so each day I am always thinking to do something good for the society, to develop such type of product which is linked to the society. So still I am working. So as a sort, I can say top 2% scientist recognition is responsibilities, and I am always ready to take the challenges. But of course, I am highly motivated and highly passionate that being listed among top 2% scientists, and this motivations will really help me in bringing the high class quality of research in the near future.
So that's really great. So do you feel a pressure of this responsibility, managing your family too, and then this a huge responsibility over you to publish quality papers?
Definitely, this is a very heart touching question because it's linked to the family. So let me make you clear. From last 15 to 16 years, I am staying away from my family. So I mean to say, when I was in outside the country like South Korea or South Africa, I was staying alone, and I used to come once in a year. Okay, so I mean to say, sacrifice is still there, but I always I acknowledged my family for this because of the support of my parents, my wife. This thing is possible because see, my family has put so much of patience to make me separate from them and give me an opportunity to do something good for the world level, because I am not doing for the nations. Basically, this I am doing globally. Okay, if any research is being done, this is done on the global platform. So of course, it's a challenging and full of stress. But the thing is that scientist is or researcher is all about taking the stress, taking the challenges, and try to overcome the challenges by providing the novel research and some output which can really save the future of the billions of people on this earth.
So that's really great. So your recent work on malfunctional hydrogels sounds fascinating. How can these innovations change healthcare and environmental sustainability?
Okay, multifunctional hydrogel is also one of the very keen area of the research nowadays. Whenever you are talking about the nanotechnology, it's a part of nanotechnology. And when you talk about the multifunctional, I think you should add one more point in this. It's a multifunctional hydrogel nanocomposite material. So now the worlds are looking toward producing a multifunctional hydrogel nanocomposite material. When you say hydrogel, hydrogel is having quality, and that quality is called the water holding capacity. The hydrogel is having the water holding capacity, and because its a functionality is too much in this hydrogel. So if you have the huge amount of functionalities are present in your hydrogel nanocomposite material, that material will work different way. Okay, because it has the certain perform certain types of stimulus. It can impact the pH effect, it can affect the temperature effects. So it mean to say safe it work in the different ways. And these important types of hydrogel is really good whenever you're trying to work in the area of the environmental remediation. Mean to say, whenever you're trying to do the purify the water, in that area multifunctional hydrogel are playing the crucial role. In the energy areas, they are also playing the very important role. So mean to say, the very important concept is whenever you're talking about the multifunctional hydrogen nanocomposite, here people are focusing on the using the biopolymer, and biopolymers are cost effective product which can be used to develop the nanocomposite material, and this product can easily be used by the common people. So multifunctional hydrogen nanocomposite applications are tremendous. You talk about the currently I work in the area of cancer diagnosis and treatment. So these different types of hydrogel can be not only used for the cancer detection, but it can also use for the curing the cancers. So what we are doing, we are using as a smart nano carrier. These hydrogel materials can be used as a smart nano carrier, so that the anti-cancer drugs can be loaded onto the smart nano carrier, and it can work onto the precise area where actually the tumor cells are being grown. So it works precisely, accurately, and that's the beauty of using the multifunctional hydrogel nanocomposite material.
Okay, sir. So, as someone deeply involved in peer reviewing papers, like over 2000 research papers, what are the most common mistakes young researchers make?
Again, a wonderful question from your side. I don't know how many questions you have already set for me. So, of course, I am reviewing the numbers of journals from last, I can say from last 15 years. And so far I have reviewed more than 2,500 papers, research articles and review articles. But a common thing which I noted in most of the articles which came for me for the peer review process, that lack the actual problem statements. Mean to say, whenever you're trying to design any research or review article, you should know the problem statement. What is the problem? Why you are trying to do the research? So when you're not knowing the problem, how you are going to do the research? Okay, so problem, identification of problem is really a first step of research. Okay, whenever you're trying to do research, you should know what is the problem. Okay, so identification of problem is really very important. So in most of the things I can see, the student or researchers, they are not properly peer reviewing the literatures. They are supposed to go for literature survey. And these nowadays, because of the chat GPT and the other different types of AI techniques, tools, the students or researchers, they are not focusing on going for in the library, sitting and trying to read the research or review articles. They are just putting something in the chat GPT and they are getting some content and they are working on it. So the first and very important thing is to identify the problem. Suppose say for example, there was a time of COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so whole world are suffering, and suffering from what? Suffering because of the COVID-19. Okay, and it comes to know that COVID-19 is basically a virus. Then people started thinking how to develop a vaccine so that we can overcome from COVID-19 virus's problem. So the aim and problem was very clear. So problem statement is what? They identify the problem that COVID-19 is a pandemic and this pandemic need to be completely removed from the society. For that sake, the scientists started working on developing the COVID vaccines. And you see many companies like AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Cipla, they have developed a lot of vaccine within 10 months of rigorous experimental work. Okay, so if you do not have the problem, if you do not identify the problem, then it is difficult for you to do the research. So identification of problem is very, very important. And second aspect is that I can see in most of the paper, they write very well. I mean to say, they put the graph, they do a lot of experimental work, but it's come for the interpretation of the result. They are unable to interpret the result. Mean to say for example, you have analyzed the SEM image, and SEM image shows that the nanoparticle is spherical in nature. Now you have to interpret the result in the written way. So when you write it, when you try to interpret the result, you cannot interpret properly. So interpretation of the result, either your instrumentation and data or your experiment data, is really very, very important. So interpretation, they are lacking in the interpretation. And lastly, if I can say, the conclusion is also equally important. So conclusion is the overall summary of your research article. So the focus should be on the problem statement, literature review, and then the interpretation of your result and conclusion. These are basically the structure of writing the good research article. So if you are unable to write the good research article, there is a very less chance that your paper is going to be accepted, because nowadays competition is very, very tough. And there was a time when very limited researchers are available. With the population of so many numbers in the world level, the competition is very, very tough. So if you really wanted to publish the work in the Scopus-indexed journal, you have to identify the problem, you should interpret the result, literature survey very important, and then draw the conclusion properly and use proper scientific English language in your writing, because because I can see they are using very loose language, and loose language is not applicable for the scientific paper. And one more thing I can see, whenever you are submitting the paper should be submitted based on the scope of the journal. And I can see papers belongs to different categories and they are submitting in different journals which are not in the scope of the journal. So before submitting the paper, you should make it clear that papers should be properly in the scope of the journal. Then only you submit it. But before submission, make it clear it is free from the typo error, and it should have the scientific English, and graphs and everything should be properly be arranged before submitting your manuscript in any of the scientific journals.
Okay, sir. So, do you think that the AI intervention in the making of research papers has made young researchers a bit lazy, as they are not going to read the actual authentic papers and they are not working hard for that? Is like AI to be blamed completely, or is it that they don't know how to use it effectively?
Actually, to be very frankly speaking, AI is a good technology, and thanks to AI, because of AI, whatever I have discussed you a few minutes back about the COVID-19 pandemic and development of the vaccination within 10 months, that credit goes to the AI. Because it's a AI technology where we are having a lot of structures are already available on your data system, because of which we can develop the vaccine within 10 months of time. So the role of the AI is in the drug discovery, in vaccination development, in healthcare, in medical diagnosis. The AIs are used in large numbers. So if you talk about the concept of machine learning, deep learning, okay, computer visions, these are playing a crucial role. If you talk about the agriculture area like precision agriculture and precision medicine, one concept is their precision medicine, mean to say based on the genotypic and phenotypic traits, the important types of specific types of drugs can be given to a specific individual who are having any type of problem. That's called the precision medicine. So precision medicines or medical diagnosis is really credit goes to the AI technology. They are playing a very crucial role, and time it's saving a lot of time. So in the same way, when you talk about the scientific world, and whenever you're talking about the doing the research, in research area you also having a lot of AI tools are available. Okay, but those AI tools are given to make the things more, like suppose you wanted to understand the concept and you are unable to you wanted to read the papers, the paper is 40 pages paper, and you are unable to understand the paper. So there are different types of AI tools are there. By using that AI tools you can know the key finding of the papers, what is the paper is all about. So the major role of AI is to make it compact, so that instead of reading 40 pages you can read 3 and 4 pages and you can understand the concept very easily. To understand the concept, to know the what is the latest technology is going on, you can use the different AI models, different AI softwares, but it doesn't mean that you have to fully depend upon the AI. Okay, AI is a supportive system, but it doesn't mean that it is everything for you. Okay, it's not a life-saving system, it just supports you. So take AI as a support, okay, but do not depend totally on the AI. Okay, so if you depend totally on the AI, you'll be going to spoil your future. So AI is important, but try to use your own mind, because when you're using the AI you should know what for I'm going to use the thing. So creative thinking is equally important. Do not depend upon the AI to think about you. You should use your own mind to think, and accordingly you can say. So make AI your friend, okay, and that is going to be good for you. But do not make AI your enemy. AI is a friend, but depend only to a level. Do not depend fully on the AI.
So it is often believed that publishing in Scopus-indexed journals is more challenging for students and researchers from the liberal arts or humanities field rather than compared to science field. What is your perspective on this?
I can say it's a myth, okay, because it is from any background, from any branches. Research is research, okay. So whenever you talk about the, you say the liberal, what do you mention?
Liberal arts.
Liberal arts. So liberal arts, social humanity, all things are belongs to this. So if you see the total number of journals is around 5,400 journals, which belongs to this area, this field. And if you compare the field with the science background, science is having around 22,000 to 24,000 Scopus index journals are present. Okay, but the science are more experimental one, and the social or humanity is more on the theory aspects are there. Okay, the thing is that science need more experimental, more analysis, and your humanity or social doesn't need more lab work, or experimental is not much needed. So it is very wrong to say that science people have liberty to publish a paper, but the humanity or social science cannot do that thing. It's not like that. What is the concept is like you the what is happening the science people right from the starting. Like if you talk about our university, we are providing the research methodology at the early stage of BTech levels. Okay, so mean to say we are trying to develop the research skill in our students at the bachelor level. The same thing need to be done on social side also. They should social humanity areas also, management areas also. They should give importance to research. They should send or organize a workshop. Okay, and they should promote and motivate the student about the research. Okay, if it is going to promote it or motivate it, then they are able to understand about the research, and then they will able to publish good numbers of paper in the Scopus-indexed journal. But again, I am telling you, social sciences can publish less paper and sciences will publish more paper. It does not like this. But it's totally depend upon the awareness. They are having more awareness. They organize more workshops, conferences, seminar, unlike to that of the social science background. So if the awareness programs is being done, given to the student, obviously, definitely they are going to perform good in term of publication.
Okay, sir. So, do you think the difficulty in Scopus publishing is real, or is it more about awareness, training, and research approach?
It about the Scopus index journal publication is really challenging nowadays, and that challenge is because a lot of predatory journals are also being available. But the thing is that if you follow the research methodology properly, when I say research methodology, I am talking about the research strategy. Okay, so whenever you're trying to publish a paper, you should know the content, how you have to go for the publication. Say, for example, I told you problem statement is very important, and then how you're going to structure your articles. Okay, how you're going to write the abstract, keywords, introductions, research discussion, conclusion, references, all things matter a lot. But apart from that, whenever you are choosing the journal to submit your manuscript, choose the right journal. Okay, the problem is they are not aware of which journals is good for submitting the paper. So very important thing, see your abstract and keyword and it accordingly try to suggest the journal which are in the scope of the journal. So your manuscript should be in the scope of journal. So that is very, very important. Okay, so if you are following the research methodology properly, techniques properly, writing skill is very good, then of course you can publish in Scopus-indexed journal. And in today's world, Scopus-indexed journal is only meaningful. All the other journal does not make any sense. If you are publishing the work in non-Scopus index, it does not give you any promotion, any hike, any type of recognition, and it is not being reported to the world level. So that is why nowadays people are focusing, researchers are focusing to publish their work only in the Scopus-indexed journals.
Okay, sir. Sir, what practical steps can universities take to encourage more Scopus publications among faculty and students, especially in disciplines like media, humanities, and social sciences?
I already told you the few points where I have to discuss you about the organizing the workshops, seminars, hand to hand demonstration programs, so that the students can develop the awareness and motivation toward the research. Apart from that, certain types of funding is also given to the young researchers who are really wanted to pursue the research in particular areas, say humanities, social sciences, or any multidisciplinary sciences. Apart from that, the recognition and incentive policy need to be implemented. Again, I am saying the recognition and incentive policy need to be implemented, and the universities who are working on these areas, they are doing good in term, because for publishing paper you need motivations, especially for the young researchers who are very, very young. What is the motivation behind doing the research? Okay, so they are young, and if you provide with some type of recognition, some type of incentive in the form of token amount, they will really getting more motivated to perform the research. So that is there, and time to time some type of lecture need to be organized from the active researcher who are expert in that area. Workshops, seminars are really very important, and I think, yeah, these are some of the important key features which can really save the future of the researcher and the students.
So, for students who are beginners in research, what are the first three things that they should focus on before attempting to publish in a Scopus index?
So research is, if you talk about the research, you should have three C. First is the courage, second is the curiosity, and third is for the creativity. So if you are having the creativity, thinking is there, then obviously you can perform the research. So in order to have the research, wanted to perform the research, you should have three C in your mind. The second important thing is that you ask me uh, how to perform the research. So what I feel that who is a beginner researcher? The beginner researcher should be given the classes. Some type of coursework are really very important. And when you talk about the coursework, the research strategy or research methodologies classes are really very important. Like say for example in today's, I can see the BTech and MTech students are coming and they are saying, I wanted to write the research and review article. And when you talk, do you know Prisma framework? Do you know SMART criteria? So they are not knowing. So there are different techniques are there which are being taught at the time of this coursework. Okay, Prisma framework are very important for the systematic review or meta-analysis review. That type of Prisma framework you are supposed to know. Then the Finner techniques are there, Delphi techniques are there, smart methods are there. There are different methods are there by which you can develop the topic, and accordingly you can perform the study. Okay, then how to write the papers. That writing paper is also a skill. Okay, so in these workshops, in these courses, they will tell you basically how to write these papers. So writing the paper, research, review, article, book chapters, they will going to teach you, and that is really very useful for the student point of view. And then telling more information about the database platform. When I say database platform, people are only depending upon the Google. So you should know the Scopus. What is Scopus? And you also have the access for the Scopus index journals. So I think I have forgotten to tell you when you are telling what new step need to be taken from the university side. So one university side, one step is also important about to provide the access for some important reputed journal so that the student can go read it and then they can understand it and then get involved in the research or review article writing.
Okay, sir. So, with the rise of predatory journals, what precautions should researchers take to ensure they are submitting their work to genuine and reputed journals?
This is a very important concern nowadays because most of the journals they are playing with the researchers and basically they are playing with the young researchers. What is happening if you go on the websites, they are mentioning Scopus Index journal. But when you go in the Scopus Index database system, that journal is already out from the Scopus Index journal. So you should be very, very vigilant and very, very keen observer when you are selecting the right journal. So predatory journals are really a very, very difficult scenario and it is going to killing your time because you spend 6 months, 8 months rigorous experimental work to generate the data and those data if you by mistake publish in the predatory journal that become useless. Okay, so predatory journals are the major concern nowadays. They are advertising on they are a Scopus index in their Savior list, but when you go to the Scopus index database system, they are not present. So you should be aware, the student, the researchers should be aware of these predatory journals because they are saying they are very fast in publication. They can publish your work within a week. So try to away from this type of advertisement. No journal, no good journal publish the quality of paper in 7 days because any paper which is being published go through rigorous peer review process. The paper which you are submitting is go to 3 expert reviewers. They give their opinion and based on that you revise the script and then you submit it before the paper get accepted. But these predatory journals, just for sake of $50, 100 USD dollar, they are publishing the paper without the peer review, which does not have any data system in the Scopus index. So be aware of these predatory journals and try to read each and everything before submitting paper in any of the journals.
Okay, sir. So, finally, what is your vision for research and innovation at Shoolini University in the coming years?
I can see Shoolini is really number one private university as we discussed, but it's not a joke, it's really truth. We are number one private university in terms of research.
Yes, sir.
Again, I am repeating, in terms of research, Shoolini University is really playing a very crucial role. If you see the QS ranking, if you see the NIF ranking, okay, if you see the THE ranking, we are much better than other private university of India. So Shoolini vision is really very good, and Professor P.K. Khosla mission and vision of bringing the university top 100% globally, I can see really we can achieve this, because now we can see every year we are publishing almost 800 publications in Scopus-indexed every year, and the citations also matter a lot in terms of the QS or THE ranking, and we are very good in public citation per papers. Okay, so vision wise I can see the great future, bright future of Shoolini University, and we have very good instrumentation facility in our center, like OSOAL center. We have a good funding from the Bardhaman Textile. We have the post grant of 9 crores, under which we are having very good instrumentation facilities are there. Like from the Bardhaman we are having the SCM, then we are having the AFM and the DLS, and from the post grant we are having the DLS, we are having the TGA, DSC, XRD, so, then we are having cytometers. So different instruments are there, and this is the one university I can say which are having all the advanced instrumentations techniques are available, which are really good to perform the high or world class research. So that can be possible here in Shoolini.
Okay, sir. So thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights with us.
Thanks a lot for giving me a time to talk about myself and tell you something about the research. Thank you once again.
Well, that's it for today. See you again next week with another interesting guest. Till then, take care. Bye bye.